what I hated, and again, this is a 90s guy coming in the 2000s dating. I hated my first impression being a text because I loved going up to women old fashioned way, you know, and just saying, hello, my name is Rudy, or talking, having a conversation. I win people over better face to face. So I actually sucked for a while with that text, that first initial text. So what's the best way to start a conversation once you've matched with a woman?
On the apps, you're saying?
Yeah, on the apps. Yeah.
Really, anything that's really easy to answer. Easy to answer.
Okay.
You don't need something funny, witty. If you have that, that's fine. You can throw it out there. Mm-hmm. But back to kind of my original point. If you don't have the profile to back it up, it doesn't matter. Because I've had guys who have come up with the wittiest, clever, funniest lines that I've seen that I crack up at that are fantastic.
Yeah.
And they get responses, but they don't get dates. Why? Because it gets a response, but then what happens? She goes to your profile and goes, not that interested. Mm-hmm. And then she's out. She ghosts you. So what do we want? Well, we want something easy and simple to answer. If you're not a witty person, can't come up with something clever, something simple, easy to answer, because women are going through so many profiles. And because of that, they are just bombarded by guys. So if they have a question that's like hard to answer, or that's an open-ended question, it's that sensitive to the point where they might be like, I don't know how to answer this question. And then all of a sudden they get distracted by their friend and by a notification, or they decide to swipe and go to someone else, or they get an email or a text message, and then you're just done. Right? So you want an easy question. So an example of that could be something like, what are your travel plans coming up? Mm-hmm. A lot of women like to travel. That's an easy one. You know, it's so funny. I get a lot of hate for that one, but try it.
Really?
Try it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. Some guys are like, that's stupid. Da, da, da. I even get some women that said, if I ever saw a guy that said, I was on a podcast once, I won't name any names. There's a female who said, that's the worst thing ever. I was like, I thought you were interviewing me. I didn't know you were going to bash my content, but she's like, that's the worst thing ever. And she just doesn't understand that the reason why she thinks it's the worst thing ever is because she just doesn't like the guys that's backing that up. She had a guy that was super cute, good pictures, good profile, that said that, she'd respond. Mm-hmm. Right? So anything that's really easy for you to ask. And I'm thinking of another example. It could be even as stupid as like dark chocolate or milk chocolate, ?
Right. I think a lot of us put too much thought into it sometimes and get that analysis paralysis. And
yeah. And here's the thing too. I'm actually, this is some polarizing advice, but I'm really against coming up with a really good line based on their profile. Mm-hmm. A lot of people give that advice. That's actually poor advice. I'll tell you why. If you sit there and you look at their profile and their pictures and they like The Office and whatever they say on their prompts and everything, and you try to come up with something, that's time taken away that you could be swiping on more women. Mm-hmm. Men are not in the same position as women online. Women can filter all they want. Men, because they have a lot of volume, they have a lot of guys swiping on them, they have a lot of people in the inbox. Men don't have that. So what's crucial to a man is not perfecting the best message. It's having a simple message and then getting through as many women as possible. Why? Because most men are going to get rejected online. 4% of women swipe yes on men. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you need to spend most of your time not crafting the perfect message. You need to spend most of your time swiping and getting through to the next woman. So then you can get the volume in and you can spend a good hour having messaged, let's say 50 women versus, 15 or 20 with the best message.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the message isn't the most important thing anyways. It's the profile.
Yeah, I agree. And I get asked that question as well. Even my son, who's 17, he's like, how do I go up and approach a woman? And I'm like, you can't give him a script, because a lot of people expect a script on what to say verbatim, but every situation is different. Every person's different. And I always advise guys, and I kind of use this on dating apps as well. Everybody has a what's it on them, like something on them or something in the background that screams their identity, something about themselves. And I love tattoos. I have a sleeve of a Superman sleeve I'm working on. And each image is an event in my life. So this is going to be a comic book storyboard of my life. That's
cool.
My story. So whenever I would see a woman online or in public and they had a tattoo, I know a lot of artists, and I'd always ask, what's the story behind that rose or behind that cross? And that would get them talking because it's something personal to them and special to them. Sometimes they just said, oh, I was drunk and I just got it. And I'm like, oh, okay. But sometimes they just went into detail like, oh, this was like my brother. We were this and that. And that's sort of the conversation. And if you go in my opinion, with a non-sexual approach and something, you know, like, hey, you're genuinely interested in something about them that's personal to them, some barriers come down and they share more with you. So that's what I used as well. Just something on them, whether it was a shirt or a band they had on, a graphic tee, but especially tattoos. That was always what I went with. So I always tell my son, just go with what they are, what's in front of them. And just, again, being comfortable in your own skin is another big sell. But again, going back to that conversation, that's kind of what I used. It was find something about them.
Sure. I still, I still think that takes a little while. I still think that adds more time into it. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If you're into tattoos and that sounds like a great opener online for tattoos. Mm-hmm. I would go into, I don't have an Android, so I don't know what they have for this, but I know for iPhones, you can make a shortcut off of a text message that whatever it is that you write. So for example, you could put like, I don't know, literally any word you want. Let's say you just write the word TAT. Mm-hmm. So if you write TAT and then you set it up where that can just, once you type TAT in your phone, it comes up with that whole message. Mm-hmm. And you just press the space bar and then boom, it instantly has that whatever you want. In this case, it could be the opener of what's the story behind that. So you could literally be scrolling and go, oh, girl with a tattoo. Boom. What's the story behind that tattoo or whatever it is. I'm all about efficiency in order to get more volume.